In 1976, a single tree in the Korean Demilitarized Zone pushed the United States and North Korea to the brink of war. What started as a routine tree trimming job turned into a deadly clash, a massive military showdown, and one of the most bizarre operations in history, Operation Paul Bunyan. Buckle up because this story is wild. The Korean Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, is a 2.5-mile wide strip separating North and South Korea. Despite its name, it's one of the most heavily armed borders on Earth. In 1976, tensions were already sky-high during the Cold War. The DMZ's Joint Security Area, or JSA, was a hotspot where US, South Korean, and North Korean soldiers stood face-to-face. The trouble started with this, a 30-meter poplar tree in the JSA. It was blocking the line of sight between a United Nations command checkpoint and an observation post. On August 18, 1976, a small team led by U.S. Army Captain Arthur Boniface and First Lieutenant Mark Barrett went to trim it. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. As the team worked, North Korean soldiers, led by Senior Lieutenant Pak Chul, showed up and demanded they stop, claiming the tree was sacred to Kim Il-sung. Tensions spiked, and then, out of nowhere, the North Koreans attacked. Using axes and clubs, they killed Captain Boniface and Lieutenant Barrett in a brutal assault. The world was stunned. This wasn't just a skirmish, it was a deliberate provocation. The Korean Axe murder incident, as it became known, sent shockwaves through Washington and Seoul. The U.S. demanded justice, and President Gerald Ford wasn't about to let this slide. Their response? A plan so bold, so over-the-top, it's almost unbelievable. Operation Paul Bunyan. 3 days later, on August 21, 1976, the U.S. and South Korea launched Operation Paul Bunyan, named after the legendary lumberjack. The mission? Chop down that tree. But this was no ordinary tree trimming. It was a show of force. Over 300 troops, including 16 engineers with chainsaws, rolled into the JSA in 23 vehicles. They were backed by 64 South Korean Special Forces, armed with M16s, and even Claymore mines strapped to their chests, daring the North Koreans to act. Above, 27 helicopters, including Cobra attack choppers, buzzed the area. B-52 bombers and F-4 jets circled nearby, ready to strike. The USS Midway carrier was on standby. This was a message mess with us and you'll regret it. The North Koreans? They watched in silence as the tree came down in just 43 minutes. Operation Paul Bunyan was a success. The tree was gone and North Korea didn't dare respond. Later that day, Kim Il-sung sent a rare message expressing regret for the incident, a huge diplomatic win. The JSA was even partitioned to prevent future clashes. But the operation wasn't just about a tree, it showed how a tiny spark in a tense region could nearly ignite a full-scale war. Today, the DMZ remains a symbol of division, and a memorial stands where the poplar tree once did, honoring Boniface and Barrett. Operation Paul Bunyan is a reminder of how fragile peace can be, and how sometimes even a tree can push the world to the edge. Credits, written by name, produced by name, narrated by name.